in today's video, I want to focus in on our first round selection of Christian Gonzalez. I personally think this was an excellent draft here for the Patriots, and especially that first round pick was an excellent pick. There's no denying that it was a very good value acquisition there in the draft. We really saw this as a player that was extremely highly touted and projected to go in the top 7 from a lot of people, at least the top 10 from most everybody, and we got him at pick number 17, probably a good 10 picks away from where he was valuated at. So a really good value pick there. And a lot of people, the biggest problem they had wasn't necessarily with Christian Gonzalez himself. They weren't like, oh, he's not good. I think the overall consensus is that this is a very high potential draft pick and probably the best cornerback that the Patriots have drafted since Devin McCourty, who was a cornerback coming out of college when they drafted him. So he came in as a cornerback, for those of you that didn't know, and he was a first round selection by the Patriots as well. So this is probably the most talented and highest potential, quote unquote, cornerback that we have drafted since that pick, at least. So definitely some very high potential here. And what we've seen in the last 10 or so years and even longer is the Patriots, and I think particularly Bill Belichick's just ability to develop these cornerbacks. Let's say even if they're drafted in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round pick, even undrafted, he has been able to turn out a star cornerback. It seems like almost every other season a new one is rising up. So when you take the fact that he is able to take limited talent, if we're being honest and very blunt, he's able to turn that into the best potential player they could possibly be given their talent level. When you take a cornerback with excellent size and excellent speed combined, that Christian Gonzalez has, okay? He has that size and speed. He's 6'1". I mean, a really tall cornerback, and if you've seen his highlight videos, he's very lanky as well and able to move well. Has a 4.38 40-yard dash, which is extremely quick overall, but especially when considering that 6'1" size. Definitely a really high potential player. And another thing I just love about this guy, because the Patriots tend to kind of sacrifice in certain aspects of a player in the draft. For instance, they might be 23 or 24 already, like Kyle Duggar was. I think he was maybe 24 when he was drafted. And that kind of limits the time frame of development, right? When you only have, probably 6 years left of prime in the players basically NFL time, and then after 30 you're obviously on the wrong side of 30 and you're kind of downhill from there. Christian Gonzalez is 20, guys, so that's about 10 years before he's even 30. So think about that. It will be 2033 by the time this guy is turning 30. So we have a long time. And he's already a really high quality player and should be a day one, obviously a day one starter, but should already be a fairly good player. Extremely young, a lot of time to develop. And at the 6'1", 197 pounds with the 4.38 speed, not to mention he's also a very good tackler from what I was able to see from Pro Football Focus. This is mostly just going off of those stats. He's one of the better tacklers as far as cornerbacks are concerned as well, because usually that's a little bit of a concern with some lankier cornerbacks, is that they might just get trampled over even by wide receivers and players that aren't particularly, known for their trucking ability or stiff arms. But he's the type of guy that can bring those tougher to take down guys. He can bring back down some running backs probably fairly easily on solo tackles. So this is just going to be overall a great player where you kind of just like every single thing about him, and it's all just potential, right? So we've seen players come in with all the potential in the world, and it doesn't end up being a 10 out of 10 career for them. So there's no way to know for sure if that's going to happen here or not. But all the stars are kind of aligned where it's going to be definitely possible. And when you combine that with what I mentioned about the coaching of Bill Belichick with cornerbacks in the past, it just leads you to believe that this is an awesome pick. Now, as I was kind of mentioning earlier, and I really kind of cut myself off, a lot of people didn't have a problem with Christian Gonzalez, and it's hard to ignore all of what I just mentioned, and I think almost everybody's going to agree with me there, that he is an excellent player and also better than first round 17th pick, most likely. That's most likely an extremely good value. But most people's problem was that they drafted a defensive player and not an offensive player, because the defense wasn't the biggest problem over last season or even the past 3 seasons or so, if we're being honest, since since Brady's departure. But the thing here is, I think with the addition of Bill O'Brien, I really, really feel like that is going to make the offense so much more powerful and just overall really, really good, that I think it evens the playing field between the offense and defense a lot. I think the Patriots feel like bringing in Bill O'Brien, and he's a really great offensive coordinator, but I think just having an offensive coordinator in general that isn't a defensive guy like we had last year with Patricia, that didn't even make sense. Last season's offensive coaching did not make any sense, and I feel like just bringing in a real offensive coordinator, let alone a really great one, is going to be a night and day difference for that offense. And I really feel like there's probably so much more potential with the current offense that we have than we were even able to see with the coaching staff last season. So I think they really want to just test out with good coaching what this offense really has. The defense they want to just keep building onto. And obviously the Patriots have always been a defensive-minded team, paying close attention to making sure they have a great defense and never really sacrificing that to have a high-powered offense like what's become more popular over the last 10 or so seasons in the NFL. I think that they're still trying to keep that defensive culture on the team, and I love it. I think that this is the best value pick there, so best player available most likely. Really great fit on the team. Cornerback was probably the biggest need, if not safety, on the defense, so getting a defensive back overall is priority there on the defense, just because of Devin McCourty's departure, and really not having a J.C. Jackson or a Stephon Gilmore like we had just a couple of seasons ago. With those two departing over a couple of seasons, we didn't have a superstar cornerback last season, I guess is what I'm trying to get at. This gives us a chance to get back into that category, having a lockdown cornerback, and also for all the Joneses, the Marcus Jones, the John Jones, we have these really good cornerbacks that have a lot of potential that really are now pushed back on the depth chart in a good way. You might look at that as a bad thing, like they're getting pushed down the depth chart, but being the number 2 cornerback instead of the number 1, but still keeping your same, level of play, just means that our number 2 and number 3 and number 4 matchups are going to be even better. Now that Jonathan Jones, Jack Jones, and Marcus Jones are likely going to be pushed down a little bit, Jonathan Jones will probably be above Christian Gonzalez is what I imagine. And then I think Christian Gonzalez will be that number 2 corner. But Jonathan Jones is always going to be more of an inside corner because of his size and speed. So a lot of times he's going to be inside. So I imagine we might have Jack Jones on one side and then keeping Christian Gonzalez on the other. There's our 2 outside corners, and then Jonathan Jones there within the slot. I think that's a really, really good look here for the Patriots. But either way, it takes a lot of the pressure off of Jonathan Jones, Jack Jones, and Marcus Jones, and helps them develop into better players as well. This is just a great pick overall. I love this pick so much. It's my favorite pick in the draft. It's the highest pick in the draft. There's really not a lot to complain about. I don't think they needed an offensive player as much as everybody's letting on. I think they just want to let the new coaching staff take over and see what that brings to the team. I expect big improvements this season with the coaching, the great draft here. I think that there is a lot to be excited about this upcoming season. So we're going to continue to make these videos about the previous players that we've drafted in this previous draft, so be sure to subscribe. I'm sorry I haven't uploaded in so long. I'm excited to make these videos for you guys. I'm excited about the Patriots are doing, and I can't wait to see the videos from minicamp, training camp, all of that stuff. It's going to be so much fun, so be sure to subscribe for those. Like the video if you did enjoy it. Leave a comment down below with your thoughts as well on this pick and all of the things that I've mentioned in this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.